Hello, sports fans. This is the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, a.k.a. Mr. Bookmaker, your source for the sports betting industry 24/7. Sit back, relax, and listen as Mr. Bookmaker highlights what's happening right now in the world of sports. So, without further ado, here's your host, Art Eftekhari.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. I'm your host, Art Eftekhari. Glad you could be with us. Before we get this started, make sure you go to our website, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. Don't forget about our Bookmaker 101 Basics, our Bookmaker Guide, as well as our A to Z sports betting lingo. And remember, we got the links to the best European, Asian, and United States friendly bookmaker sites. Get on it. Starting things off with our A to Z sports betting lingo. So, what is the word of the day going to be? Well, today the word is tipster. Now, what is a tipster? Pretty self-explanatory. A person who gives or sells to bettors his estimate of likely winners of a race, game, or event. So those of you out there really taking this online betting thing seriously, you might want to inquire the help of a tipster. Take them out for a pint, whatever it is you like to do for fun, wherever you are in the world. Remember that. And to kick things off today, it is August. That means we're getting closer and closer to the start of the 2017 National Football season. I know preseason is coming first, so let's take a look at the odds first. The outright odds to see who is favored to lift the Vince Lombardi Trophy at the end of the season. I'm over here on 888sport.com. That's www.888sport.com. Haven't been here in a while. Good to be back here. The odds here are showing the top four favorites first. Not a shock. New England Patriots, 4-1 odds. The Green Bay Packers, 10-1. Then you have the Dallas Cowboys, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Seattle Seahawks. All three of them, 11-1 odds there to win the Super Bowl. And as I usually do, I like to share the teams at the top that are favored to go all the way, and also want to share the ones at the very bottom. And no surprise, the New York Jets are one of those teams, 125-1. Wow. So maybe you just want to put a small wager on them. You never know what can happen, but remember, this is the Jets. And of course, the other two teams, one of them is the Cleveland Browns, the other one, the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are my team, so obviously I can't be talking about this with a huge smile on my face. So with the 49ers, 150-1 odds. Wow. No respect for my team. Then there's the Cleveland Browns, 250-1. So, no shock there, right? All right. Now I am shifting gears a bit to the German Super Cup. And that'll take place on Saturday, the 5th of August, between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. And that match will be played in Dortmund. And for this match, I am on Pinnacle.com. That's www.pinnacle.com. Let's see what the bookies are saying here. The payout here shows 2.179 for Bayern Munich, 3.370 for Borussia Dortmund, 3.720 for a draw. So no surprise, Bayern Munich is favored, especially with dangerous players like Robert Lewandowski. But with this, you never know what can happen. It is the Super Cup. Borussia Dortmund is a force to be reckoned with, and I think it will be a very interesting game. But as we all know, Bayern are the favorites. No shock there. So those of you chalk eaters who want to bet on the favorites, go for Bayern Munich. And before we continue, make sure you check out our website. You know the address, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. On our website, you have easy access to the Bookmaker 101 Basics. That includes steps on how to register, bet, and withdraw. Our Bookmaker Guide is available to download. Read through it at least 2 or 3 times. Remember, I want you to become an expert on this whole entire online sports betting process. And remember, we have betting strategies, tips. Don't forget about our A to Z sports betting lingo. Remember, you may not sound like an expert just yet, but keep on listening to the Bookmaker Podcast. Check out our website, and you'll be good to go. Okay, next on our agenda, competitive football is coming back to England, and I am really excited about this.
Yo, tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what
Well, look, I really want to see Cardiff City promoted to the English Premier League. Yes, that's my favorite team. Would be nice to see them return to the top flight of English football, but I'll just go ahead and stop right there. And yes, and with that, the English Premier League is still about a week away from getting started for the 2017-2018 season. But you don't have to wait much longer for the start of the 2017-2018 Championship. Remember, that's the second level of football in England. First, let's take a look at the teams that are favored to be promoted. I'm on bet365.com, and here at the very top, you got Aston Villa, 15-8, Middlesbrough, also 15-8, and Fulham, 11-4. At the very bottom, teams that are least likely expected to be promoted for the next season, you got Barnsley and Bolton, 40-1, and Burton Albion, 50-1. And of course, my team somewhere in the middle, Cardiff City, 8-1. So if you want to take a chance on Cardiff, I think that's not a bad idea. They are coached by Neil Warnock. He has been known to promote teams from the Championship to the EPL on more than one occasion. And so let's take a look at some of the marquee matchups. The three teams in the Championship this year that were relegated from the English Premier League are Hull City, Middlesbrough, and Sunderland. Middlesbrough are one of those teams at the top three favored to be promoted back to the EPL. But what about Sunderland? Over here shows 11-2 for Sunderland. And for Hull City, 6-1. So not very bad odds there. Let's take a look at the odds for some of the matchups this weekend. On Friday, the 4th of August, you got two matches that day. Nottingham Forest will be hosting Millwall. Sunderland will be hosting Derby County. Let's take a look at the odds for Nottingham Forest versus Millwall. The odds here show 19-20 for Nottingham Forest, 5-2 for a draw, 14-5 for Millwall. As for Sunderland versus Derby, 11-8 for Sunderland, 12-5 for a draw, 15-8 for Derby County. Then on Saturday, the 5th of August, let's take a look at my team, Cardiff City. They'll be playing away from home against Burton Albion. 13-8 are the odds here for Burton Albion, 12-5 for a draw, 31-20 for Cardiff City. Also on that same day, you got QPR, Queen's Park Rangers hosting Reading, 13-8 for QPR, 12-5 for a draw, 31-20 for Reading. And also on that same day, the later game, Aston Villa hosting Hull City, 1-1 for Aston Villa, 12-5 for a draw. No, a lot of 12-5s here for the draws anyways, and 11-4 for Hull City. There's other games on that day as well. Get to bet365.com. And also on Sunday, the 6th of August, you got one game on that day. Bolton hosting Leeds United. 7-4 here for Bolton. 23-10 for a draw. 6-4 for Leeds United. Like I said, get to bet365.com. Championship football is extremely exciting. There's never a dull moment. And as I mentioned earlier, you gotta wait about a week for the start of the English Premier League, but you also don't need to wait for the start of the Scottish Premiership. So let's see what's going on this weekend. First, on Saturday, the 5th of August, Celtic will be hosting Hearts. Odds here show 1-5 for Celtic, 6-1 for a draw, 10-1 for Hearts. Then Dundee hosting Ross County, 6-4 for Dundee, 12-5 for a draw, 17-10 for Ross County. Hibernian versus Partick, 4-5 for Hibernian, 13-5 for a draw, 10-3 for Partick. The last game on Saturday, Kilmarnock will be hosting St. Johnstone, 8-5 for Kilmarnock, 23-10 for a draw, 13-8 for St. Johnstone. Then on Sunday, the 6th of August, Motherwell will be hosting Rangers. Odds here show 17-4 for Motherwell, 3-1 for a draw, 3-5 for Rangers. Aberdeen will be hosting Hamilton, 3-10 for Aberdeen, 4-1 for a draw, and 9-1 for Hamilton. Now I'm taking a look at the teams favored to win outright. No surprise, you got Celtic. The payout here shows 1-20 for Celtic, 12-1 for Rangers, 20-1 for Aberdeen. Now I'm really hoping to see if maybe another different team can win the Scottish Premiership. Over the years, it's always Celtic or Rangers. And ever since Rangers' mishap of getting liquidated and starting over, it's going to take a while for them to become one of those favorites. And the teams at the very bottom, you got Kilmarnock with 1,000-1. Wow. Partick, 1,500 to 1, and Hamilton 2,000 to 1. So my advice for you all here, I know it may not make a big difference, but just place a small wager on one of those teams at the bottom. You never know. What if they pull a Leicester City in Scotland? You just don't know. And with that, everybody, it is time to wrap up this edition of the Bookmaker Podcast. Make sure you download our Bookmaker Guide from our webpage, bookmakerinfo.com. That's www.bookmaker-info.com. And I will leave you with this important advice. If you want to become an expert with online betting, you got to listen to the Bookmaker Podcast.
Make it last forever. Friendship never ends.
This has been the Bookmaker Podcast with Art Eftekhari, aka Mr. Bookmaker. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please show some love by subscribing to this podcast on iTunes or Stitcher. Till next time, this is Mr. Bookmaker over and out.